When St. Lucia's political history books are read 100 years from now, there will be names that will appear and stories which will be told from generation to generation. How or whether a politician's name makes it into these journals is decided every 5 years. While some will work assiduously to be immortalized, others will put up effective opposition to ensure that their names appear. However, there are those whose names have already been cemented in the preliminary drafts of the manuscript. And rest assured, it does not necessarily have to take 53 years of service to make the list. The years 1951, 1954, 1979, 1997, and 2011 are sure to be featured prominently when St. Lucia's lapses and infelicities is read 100 years from now. During the 17th century, the Spanish, Dutch, French, and English sailed the waters of the Caribbean in search of what seemed to be the East. Uranora, with its beautiful coastlines, unspoilt rivers, and majestic rainforests, seemed to be the perfect place to stop. They certainly were not welcomed by the large Amerindian community between Micoud and Canals. The Amerindians and Europeans both loved the area because of its large rivers of fish and sheltered bays. This invasion of territory led the Caribs of Micoud to mount relentless attacks, assisted by Caribs of neighboring St. Vincent and Dominica. But alas, their bows and arrows were no match for the guns that soon turned against them. 3 centuries later, think Micoud, and images of a sleepy village punctuated by several tea cabarets, very little crime, a thriving banana industry, and Sir John Compton all flood your memory at once. Micoud North and South have been strongholds of the United Workers' Party since the party was first formed in 1964. After 33 years of representation, Sir John gracefully bowed out of the political arena. In 1997, the strong Labour breeze which swept the island was too immense to be contained by the 4,716 registered voters of Micoud South alike, and so the flame of the flambeau would be extinguished for the next 5 years. The incumbent Cassius Elias would face the United Workers' Party's AJames and independent candidate Lilia Harrick-Singh, both of whom he defeated in 1997. But history would not be repeated. Micoud voters had reconciled with their party, thus giving AJames a resounding victory in the 2001 elections. In the 2006 general elections, the SLP offered up Eugene George, but Asen's hold on the constituency had become overwhelming, affording George only 31% of votes cast, while Lilia Harrick-Singh would receive the same percentage of votes she did in the 2001 polls, 4%. In 2011, Harrick-Singh found favor in the St. Lucia Labour Party's lineup, and so she will face the incumbent AJames again, only this time wearing a conspicuous red shirt. Interestingly, even the opinion polls conducted by the opposition indicate that this seat will not be keenly contested.
AJames is from Micoud South. That's where he has lived all his life. He was born in the community of Deriso. He has worked with the people. He has been involved in community development. He identifies with the problems of the people, and he's willing to get solutions to problems which face the people.
What he has not said is that he never had the privilege of attending a secondary school, but that did not hinder him from obtaining his O-levels privately. He became a qualified teacher, acquired a bachelor's degree and master's in education from the University of Bristol in England. AJames has also graduated from Wolverton University, where he passed his law degree. Yes, you heard right, law degree with honors. The decline in banana revenues hurt most below the Farm Belt. As production and revenues nosedived, the parliamentary representative for Micoud South was facing an unusually high rate of unemployment in his constituency, generally among unskilled workers. St. Lucia's agricultural sector is dominated by banana production, which accounts for over 75% of agricultural activity for the island. Total banana exports in 2008 to the UK stood at over 38,000 tons, while the production of fruits and vegetables has traditionally been for the supply of the domestic market. Structural shifts in the banana sector has seen a reduction in the number of banana farmers and a significant increase in the number of holdings contributing to the production of non-traditional crops. Thankfully, AJames' predicament is not unique. His approach to tackling this problem has been tried and proven.
We also want to develop what is known as an agro-based industry, where we are going to have value added to the agricultural sector.
In support of this initiative, a network of satellite agro-processing and marketing depots in key production areas are being set up. First among these is the conversion of the underutilized rural service centers at AJames in Deriso to serve farmers in the southeastern part of the island. The outcome will enhance food security by increasing income, thereby improving the community's access to food. It will also reduce wastage and provide employment.
We have built this cocoa fermenting plant there. It will provide some jobs for some young people because they buy the cocoa wet. So the cocoa will be dried, it would be sorted out and graded, and it will be polished, it will be bagged, and then for shipment.
In 2001, AJames was one of only 3 opposition MPs in the House of Parliament. He says that while the rest of St. Lucia seemed to flourish, Micoud South in particular seemed to have been punished. He explains that his constituency has been marginalized or be victimized for its loyalty to the United Workers' Party. There were no development projects done and the basic infrastructure was neglected.
The Deriso Road, for example, since 1997, when the Labour Party government won the election, they promised that they would rebuild that road because that road has been bad for a very, very long time. They had a sitting MP under the Labour government, Mr. Cassius Elias. They promised they would do it, and it never happened. When I got in 2001, I reminded them, I wrote to them, I brought in the Minister of Communication and Works. He came to the constituency, he took pictures, he visited all our roads. In fact, not one road was fixed during that time, 1997 to 2006. So we were just actually squeezed out because we voted UWP in this constituency.
The name AJames has never been synonymous with being a media cry-cry. Like a true parliamentary representative, even when his party was in opposition, he sought ways to empower his people through self-help and community-based development programs.
I was able to get through the Youth and Sports Council of Deriso, get some finance from the French government to do a few projects. One was to put drainage on the Deriso combined field, Deriso field, because it was waterlogged. Water was destroying the field. So we were able to get some money to put drains around that field. We were also able to get some monies to do some repairs to the Lacoville multi-purpose center, but we call it community center.
According to James, the neglect of Micoud South under the St. Lucia Labour Party had festered to the point where essential services like water supply reached crisis proportion.
We had a water tank that needed to be replaced because it got rotten and had to be abandoned, and it took us 3 years. After agitation and agitation, it took 3 years to replace that water tank. All they gave us was 2 small 100-gallon water tanks. And you know that water tanks had to supply water to the Deriso community, to the Tiroshe community, and definitely we had a lot of problems with water. It took 3 years.
In 2006, 2,000 voters in Micoud South expressed their confidence in AJames and their tikwa were cast in his favor. He was charged with the mandate to develop policies and programs which would significantly enhance the lives of residents. It would be his first taste of being in power with the full support of his government. After 5 years, what can AJames show?
Right where we are sitting now, this project, which we call the Baobab Park, is a project financed by the Taiwanese government. And with this little toilet block, this park is very essential to the people of Diga, very important because that park, named after that tree, the baobab tree, is the only tree that you can find in St. Lucia or in the Caribbean or in Latin America. This tree is a native tree of Africa and it has a lifespan up to about 6,000 years.
The baobab tree is known as a tree of life, and with good reason too. It is capable of providing shelter, food and water to humans and animals alike in the African savanna. Its bark is fire resistant and is used for cloth and rope production. The leaves are used for condiments and medicines. The tree is capable of storing hundreds of liters of water, which is tapped in dry periods so residents can enjoy, and taxi drivers can bring tourists to Meekwood in a comfortable setting to marvel at Meekwood's pride and joy. Every politician has a project that is a driving force of his or her campaign. What would you say is the signature of your campaign?
The signature of my campaign would be 1, the Deriso Highway, and 2, the water for the constituency and the communities of Diga, Lacouville and Tiroshi. We have already established a tank, which we'll probably show you in a while, and now we are working hard to get it connected before year end.
Mr. James, you've been there for 5 years. Why are these projects being completed at this time?
Well, you see, the thing about it is that these projects cost a lot of money. Our terrain, especially with Thomas, the Hurricane Thomas, put us years behind. A number of things that we started, for example, the water system. Our water system was completely destroyed. We lost about 80 lengths of 6-inch pipes. The dam where we collected our water, that was in ruins. The tank has been there from last year, just before Hurricane Thomas. And now we are trying to ensure that we have that tank connected so that people can get water on a daily basis.
With arrangements made for consistent water supply, his attention homed in on road rehabilitation and grassroots programs which would directly impact the lives of all residents. The Zulutown roads were in a battered state, but the road repair crew started with professionally constructed drains before laying the perfect layer of concrete.